This is the plaintiff, Elisa Ray. She says the defendant was her landlord for 22 years. Then, one day out of the blue, the woman told her she had 60 days to get out. Huh? She never told her why. She never returned her security deposit. And to this day, the whole thing is one big mystery. Bottom line, she's owed $5,000 and is suing her here and now for just that. This is the defendant, Denise Carroll. She says the plaintiff constantly denied her access to the apartment, which, as a landlord, she has the right to have. After 22 years of living in the apartment, the plaintiff caused extensive damages. She used her security to make the necessary repairs and certainly doesn't owe this woman the money she's trying to sue her for today. She's accused of abruptly ending a tenancy. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $3,600 for storage of left-behind belongings.
All parties, please use your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff says she rented from the defendant, get this, for 22 years. And then out of the blue, the defendant told her to get the heck out. But the defendant says after all those years, the plaintiff left the place a disaster. It's the case of singing the blues.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
You lived there how long?
22 years and 5 months.
Wow.
Right.
And what happened?
In May of...
Was there a lease like every year that you'd sign?
Yes, right.
All right. And the lease was over when?
September 30th.
Okay. And then in May, what happened?
May, I was given a notice that my rent was being increased by $100. And then in July...
Yeah, but if you're in the middle of a lease, there can't be an increase in your rent.
Well, for the next lease period.
Oh, so you were getting... So actually, you were getting notified pretty early that in May, the rent would be increased in September.
Correct.
Okay, go ahead.
And then in July of that, I think the 21st, I received a notice, excuse me, that I had to vacate the unit.
Okay, that your lease was not going to get renewed.
Renewed, correct.
Okay. Did you know why?
No.
Okay, and so what happens? You leave.
Correct.
And you don't get your security deposit back.
Correct.
Now, did you have a bad relationship with the landlord?
It wasn't the greatest, but I didn't think it was the worst.
Right.
So.
How would either of you ever know? You couldn't have lived anywhere else. It was 22 years. Did you ever have a different tenant?
No.
Right. And yet this person was there 22 years, and you kept her security deposit. I'd be looking to give her a gold watch for 22 years of having it's bizarre to me. Anyway, what kind of damages did she leave behind that would justify you taking her entire security deposit?
Walls had holes and dents in the walls. I do.
May I have them?
The kitchen floor linoleum was ripped.
Well, when was the last time the kitchen floor linoleum was put in? 22 years earlier?
Well, I didn't charge her for that at all. I assume that cost myself.
Well, then let's only discuss what you charged her for.
Okay.
Because that's what I have to determine whether that is justifiably $1,079.79, which was
right. There was no bathroom towel rack.
Did you send a letter itemizing what the damages were?
Not to her.
Yes, she did.
She did?
Yes.
When did you get the letter?
After I requested my security deposit.
How long was that after you moved out?
I moved out November 1st.
Okay.
So around December 5th, I believe, I asked her about my security deposit.
And then when did you get the letter?
2 days later.
Okay. May I see the letter? So there were maybe some pictures or something that were taped to the wall?
Yes, and there should be a copy of the actual picture to show what was taped to the wall.
Okay, is this your daughter, I guess, or somebody was taping pictures to the wall?
Yes, she did.
Right. And so that did some damage to the wall. I saw that. Mm-hmm. Is that this? Because it's stapled together, so I'm thinking that's
residue from the tape.
Yeah,
it was on the wall.
Okay, but now had you painted in 22 years?
Yes, I did paint part of the apartment that needed it. Her living room, hallway.
Did you paint this room that's in question?
No.
In the last 22 years? Okay.
No. But I didn't charge her for paint. And I didn't charge her for the labor, for paint either.
That's kind of not the analysis. The analysis is this normal wear and tear? Is this something you would have to do anyway? Or is this something that she owes you because it shouldn't be returned to you that way?
Yes.
This is the analysis after 22 years. I don't get too many cases with 22 years involved. All right, so we have, I see like, some banging up, I guess, of the door jams.
And there's
Was
slices.
any of this stuff touched in 22 years? The door jams, the door molding or the doors, any of that?
There was nothing wrong with the place when she first moved in.
I only
and
want
no.
you to answer my question. Was
No.
anything done during the 22 years? So I need to know. I'm going to assume you handed it to her fresh out of the box and perfect. I just also want to know if some work was done in the last 22 years.
No.
Okay. Which door is this? Do you know?
A linen closet door and a master bedroom door leading to the bathroom.
Okay.
There are 2 doors.
This wood is splitting. How would that be a
Yes.
tenant's fault?
I would have to see the
It's
picture.
splitting right where a nail is. A nail was put in there by the person who put up the wood molding, and it's splitting above and below the nail. Why would a tenant be responsible for that? The paint is chipping. These are pictures
a
of the
slice.
windowsill, and the paint
There's a
like chipping off of it because it hasn't been painted in 22 years. How is a tenant responsible for that?
There's cuts in the windowsills and the door frame here.
That's not, I'm
It's
sorry.
not the nail.
I'm looking at that. Take a better look at it. It is cracked where a nail is right in the center. That's where it's cracked.
But the nail wasn't in there when she first moved in there. This wasn't like that.
Give me that, please. What is this a picture of that she did?
All of the windowsill had to be touched up. It was not like that before at all. And
Do you
this
expect
was
that the tenant has to paint everything for you and freshen up a 22-year apartment before she leaves? Let me see your lease. How is this her fault?
What is
This is burned because it's right by this thing. How would that be the tenant's fault?
I'll have to see that again. No, this is not burn. These are holes. It's not a burn. These are holes.
In the 2 places where that pipe juts out.
It's not a pipe. This is a cushion to brace the door when it opens next to a wall.
Let me see. I thought it was some kind of heating pipe.
No.
It's so
At the top of the door, it's a little...
Yeah, I see exactly where it is.
Okay.
That corresponds to this, and that corresponds to this. It is physically on what? On the hinge?
Yes.
Then it's gonna hit every single. That's okay.
I have the same
This
thing.
is where the pictures were glued on, right, or taped on, or whatever that ruined the wall.
Yes.
All right. You're deducting
hole
for
in there.
regrouting. It hasn't been grouted in 22 years, correct?
But there was grit and dirt in between the tiles. It wasn't cleaned.
What is this a picture of? Is this a hole in the wall that you want to show me, or a hole
Yes.
in the carpet?
No,
Because there's
in the
something dark
wall.
on the carpet.
In the wall.
How'd that hole get there?
I don't recall that hole. I don't remember seeing
Okay.
a hole. I have pictures too.
Now, you are suing her. I'm sure your pictures are going to show the place looking great because the tenant only takes those pictures.
No,
So,
I have her pictures that she has online, and I have my pictures.
what do you mean her picture she has online?
Well, her trying to rent the apartment.
Afterwards.
Correct.
What is that going to show me?
They look very similar to the pictures I took when I left.
Okay, but we
they-
know that she did a bunch of work on it to spruce
Well,
it
yeah.
up.
So her pictures look fresh. My pictures look not as fresh.
Okay. You are suing for double the security deposit because you feel she's not entitled to a penny.
Correct.
Even after I've shown you like how your daughter's pictures when they were.
But we cleaned that.
I don't know about cleaned it. I'm looking
No,
at
I have
it.
a-
I mean, you can't clean that. You have to.
Scrubbed it.
Yeah. Well,
We did scrub it. Can I call my witness up? Because he helped me clean.
No. I want you to prove to me, no offense, by pictures. I don't want to hear your friends say, we cleaned it up real good. Because she's got pictures of an empty room with that. You know, the pictures your daughter had on the wall were already off by the time she takes her picture. So I assume she didn't take that picture until your daughter moved and
Well,
you
true.
moved.
That part is true.
Yeah, I know. Did you find that lease I was asking you about?
So it's either on page 2 of 8 or 3, where the tenant's responsible.
The only reference is the following. The tenant shall pay for all repairs, replacements, and damages caused by the act or neglect of the tenant. And the law is normal wear and tear is exempt from stuff. So there are some things here that are clearly normal wear and tear. If you open and close the door over and over, and attached to the hinge is something that stops it that ends up making a dent in it, then that's normal wear and tear. If there's a split along the side of a nail and you're going to look at me and say, that nail wasn't there, why would the tenant put another flat finishing nail inside of the door frame? That's silly. But you're going to show me just that the windowsills look like they need sprucing up, they need paint. This is stuff that typically falls on your shoulders, especially after 22 years. Now, this is missing. Where's that? The towel bar.
Your Honor, when I first moved in, there was a plastic towel bar
Yeah,
there.
I know. Where is it?
And it was cracked, and I never replaced it, and neither did
Okay.
she.
Are you deducting for that?
Well, yes.
Specifically, how much is that?
The towel bar was not
Yes,
cracked.
how much is that? I'm going to assume it was there when you rented.
$115.
Okay, show me proof that plastic towel bar that goes inside of there is $115.
The labor from the contractor was $100. The $15 came from me to buy it. So, here?
Yeah, let me see the proof of everything you just said. Replace towel bar and replace ventilation light bathroom fan is a total of $250. How am I to decide that the bathroom fan is only you know what? It's all rhetorical. What is this right here?
That's what she left at the house. Plus,
And so hold on. So you have a counterclaim against her for $3,600 because you want $900 in storage fee from the day she left November till today for storing this.
there's a second page on there too for more. So that's
Oh,
shade
both of
to
these
a
things,
blind,
sorry.
shade to a blind, and cake knife.
So you should
That
get
was left.
$900 for storing it. Would you pay $900 for somebody to store this that'll fit in a drawer?
To my knowledge, if a tenant leaves materials at a place where they rented before, they're charged for the rent for that,
You're wrong.
for the landlord to keep it.
You're wrong.
Okay, all right.
Here's what the law is. I'm going to tell you what the law is.
All right.
You haven't had much occasion to look it up because you've had the same tenant for 22 years.
And
what
5
the law
months.
is that you cannot throw this stuff out in the first 30 days.
Right.
And then you can throw it out, take a video of you throwing it out, jump up and down on it and break it and send it to her. Doesn't matter. Your only obligation is not to throw it out for the first 30 days. So no, you're not going to get $3,600 in storage. Let's talk to you. You're suing for the security deposit. We'll put a pin in that right now because that's the real meat and potatoes of the case.
Right.
You're also suing for $1,350 for not having an air conditioner for 9 years from June to August at $50 a month. What you didn't have was central air conditioner, right?
I had central air conditioning.
Well,
when I
you
moved
did,
in.
and then
When I
you
moved in.
didn't.
Right.
And
It
then
broke.
what you did was you bought a unit and you just used the unit in the
I used
summer.
the unit only in my room because I'm not allowed to have it in the living room area.
Why'd you keep signing up for more and more
I
leases
just-
if it was so unbearable?
I wasn't saying it was unbearable, but I feel like I was paying for
I know,
central air
but
that I
how
didn't
would
have.
after you leave, 9 years later, you've been fine with it for 9 years, and then magically, because now you're angry.
I would have let it go, but right before I left, she kept sending me text messages that she wanted to have it fixed. So I like
She wanted to have what fixed?
the air
The
conditioning.
HVAC, yeah.
Right.
Who's living there now?
I just got a tenant in Sunday, but
Oh,
he's
okay.
not there yet. He's not actually residing in the place yet, not for another week or so.
Okay. So you want retroactively for me to order her to pay you $1,350 for something that you didn't care about until now?
I did care about. I've asked her.
Yeah, but you kept signing another lease.
I know.
Yeah,
I
all
did.
right. And then wait, this one's my favorite. No, actually, my favorite was $900 storage. But this one is my favorite.
I didn't even know I had left those behind. Had I been told, I would have come and gotten them.
Well, you should know what you left behind. But
I was leaving in a hurry.
what,
She gave me.
I don't know what a hurry is. She gave you 60 days.
Right.
But that dovetails beautifully into this next thing we're about to talk about.
Right.
You are suing her for $1,490.42 because you wanted to get to the $5,000 cap. Amount owed for asking you to move without a valid reason.
Right, without causable reason, correct.
What reason does she
Well-
have to have for you to
Well,
move?
From what I saw and read, it said that when she asked me to leave, she had to give a specific reason.
No, she doesn't.
Okay. Well,
She doesn't.
She
It's
just
the
wrote
end of your lease. She
Right.
has to give a specific reason. If you're in the middle of a lease and she wants you out and she evicts you, she has to give a specific reason you're being evicted, like what it is you breached.
Right.
She has to give you a 3-day notice that specifies you didn't pay your rent or you got arrested and it was a police raid. That's when she's got to get. But it's just the end of your lease. You don't own the place. I know you feel
No.
like you do. You've been there 22 years. You were comfortable there.
No, I didn't feel like I owned it.
Right. Well, then
She
you
didn't
don't
let me
have a
feel
right to it. The minute she
Okay.
says you don't, you don't. So no, you don't
Okay.
get that.
Got
And
it.
no, you don't get this. And no, you don't get $3,600 for storing the basket. And you're welcome to throw it out. And let's see what we got here. What we really have is the question of how much, if anything, she is entitled to take from that security deposit based on these pictures. Did you have like a bad relationship with her? Or did you feel like she was
No.
not a good tenant?
She was agreeable at times.
Because I'm just so, like, isn't there any part of you that says, wow, it's 22 years? It's 22 years that she was there. There's a lot of wear and tear, but hey, I didn't have to keep advertising. I didn't have to keep showing. I didn't have to keep getting new tenants. She was there. She paid the rent. I raised the rent. She paid the rent. She paid the rent. And it was tolerable. Like, how is it that none of that goes into play when you decide if you're going to keep her entire security deposit after all that time?
Because there were issues
You're
with...
kind of mean.
There were
'Cause there
issues
were
with
issues-
me being able to access or get access to her apartment for
What does that mean? That
inspections.
she demanded that she be there? Because she has that right.
For inspections, for me to come in?
Yeah,
twice a
you're
year?
supposed to give her notice and then,
Which I did.
Right, and
each
then
time.
she's,
And
you
work out a
have to
schedule.
arrange it at a time when the two of you could be there. What's the
Right.
problem with that?
Yeah, I did. And then there were repairs that she did not alert me about that I discovered during inspections that I had to do. My concern was to maintain the house, the upkeep of it, and I wasn't able to do that necessarily unless I knew what was
You
going on.
know what? You overreached, ma'am.
Okay.
You wanted to spruce it up. I presume you're getting more rent now, right? How much are you getting now?
16.
And how much were you paying again?
9.
Right.
Well, it kept going up, you know.
Right, but the final you were paying was 9, and now she's able to get 16
Right.
after she spruced it up.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. I find that you're entitled to keep $200 for the damages to the wall with the pictures. I find everything else to be wear and tear after 22 years. And that means that you're supposed to have returned $879.79 to her. And you live in a state where when you wrongfully withhold security, the plaintiff can request double that amount. You're from New Jersey. I am granting that request. So that $879.79 times 2 is $1,759.58. Verdict for the plaintiff. On your claim against her, 0.
Thank you.
So it's a good day for the plaintiff. She prevails. She's going to get back $1,759 from you of the security.
Okay.
You okay?
Yes.
Smiling? Why are you smiling?
It's whatever
You didn't give her
happens.
anything. Now you got to give her money back.
That's all right.
Okay.
I own up to whatever, is how can I say, judged by a legal authority.
All right. Thank you very much. You must sign a few documents. And Ms. Ray is going to get some money back.
Yes.
It's a shame you had to go to court to get money back.
Correct.
But
I'm just glad that we resolved it. And like the judge said, she's mean.
you ever find out why she kicked you out?
She wanted, my hunch is she wanted to go up on the rent. So.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You sign
Sure.
some documents outside. And Harvey?
Doug, each state has its own set of laws when it comes to returning security deposits. Most states say that the landlord has to send a notification itemizing what is deducted. And if the landlord doesn't do that, in many states, penalties attach.